Hi there, welcome to Wyckoff Technical Analysis session for Polkadot. If you're new to my sessions, these are the takeaways you can expect after the session. Basically, I'll cover both current and upcoming Wyckoff stages for both weekly and daily time frames, and also key price levels where Polkadot would find resistance or support, plus any breakout timing the charts or price actions are indicating to us. So, let's take a look at this weekly chart. Currently, at least for this week's candle, we've got something like a white cross over here, or green cross in the usual charts you see. Basically, the whites are the price currently above the opening price, and that this means the bulls and the bears kind of found an equilibrium position. The selling and buying power are almost equal at this point. So it may be a sign of stabilizing down, where we may be able to see some kind of rebound in the next week or two. The good thing also is the volume has significantly died down compared to the past 2 weeks. So last week was even higher than the week where we've got the October 10th event, and that means a lot of change of hands happened last week. This week, people are more, I would say, outside of the either fear or FOMO zone. So they have kind of digested the situation and now just to seek the next sort of news for bringing the price back to a higher level of confidence instead of like trying to test the other lows. So these 2.28 level and 1.52, if you look at the previous session for Polkadot, basically I've gone all the way down to the very low level, very frequent time frame, to find these two support levels, because the only reference we have is the 17th of August in 2020, where we have the prices going lower than the long-term playground zone, this white box, this large white box over here. So we talk about like we don't hope the price to go to that final resort kind of support level and stay above this downward trend line. And fortunately, it seems at least this week for now, still 2 days and 8 hours left, the price is stabilizing at this point. But remember, this line is trending downwards, so it's not the end yet. Not until the price climbs back to above this white line at around $3.43, around that range, then we can like take a deeper breath and think, okay, probably we are outside of that riskiest period. As of now, we're still somewhere around there, and we don't know where the spring would end up landing. So last time, similar period last year, late October, that was the lowest period where we had the spring, and eventually starting in November, the price climbed. Not saying this year would happen exactly the same, just that this kind of lower dip, lower than the selling climax, is not unusual. So the next phase of Wyckoff, we hope to see a sign of strength or a backup and last point of support area around this orange key level of $5.2 before it shoots to the distribution cycle. That's the hope. But then the chance is still low given the current sentiment. Another possibility is for the price to bounce back to between the red key level, $4.3, and the white line I just talked about, and then trade sideways, meaning it will come down for another test at around the same test we have just a few months back, both in April and June. Okay, so as long as there are no positive news coming out, you can expect that this is where is going to play. I mean, people are going to play within that range. Before we get to the daily chart, let's quickly check the Bollinger Band and counter squeeze. Currently, the squeeze is still going on. So if you're new to this BB counter squeeze indicator, usually when a squeeze happens, after that, there are some very close periods, like this one, where one purple touching the orange and the other got very close. Or here, this narrow, you see those two lines are basically coming together. Those two periods, like these periods, I would consider that's a squeeze already. But the indicator itself, because you know, they calculate by logical conditions, both purple lines have to be within the orange band before they trigger the drawing of the shade at the back. So that's why it's not appearing. But for me, this is sufficient to be called a squeeze period, and then that's when the price swings comes after. Okay, so that's the purpose of the indicator, to tell us where or whether the possibility of a bigger price swing is getting near, and we are definitely in that period now. Since beginning of June, we have been in this narrow range consolidation period for over 4 months. Obviously, this can go very, very long, but then when the swing comes, it's going to be a magnitude much greater than what we have over the past half a year. So this one, where we had in like November last year, that was almost 200% climb from the bottom all the way to the tip of the wick. That's over 200%, almost 220. Would we see something the same? If you have bought the dip over here, obviously I wish you will ride that cycle and make double what you have put in. I really hope that then that's the time we all can celebrate. Share with me your good news when that happens. So let's hope these blue tags are going to be in effect in a few weeks' time. Let's go to the daily chart after talking about what we wish or hope for. No squeeze at the time being. The purple are way far from the orange, but in the daily chart, in a few days' time, they can quickly come together. So by next session, maybe we'll see a squeeze if it continues to trade narrow range, because last time we already covered the triangle that we are seeing. So here we said it's going to tell us whether it's going to stay above this yellow dash support line around $2.89 or 90 cents. Indeed, yesterday, the price stayed above this support line, so it's a good sign. Instead of heading downwards for a deeper test, it kind of stabilized at this level. However, the next time point is November the 5th. So roughly a week and a half from now, there is another test coming to tell us, okay, is the price of Polkadot going to continue sideways, or meaning it broke outside of this trend line, or is it going to come down now to test this 2.28 level? Okay, so multiple tests still on the way, while the price seems to have found a bit of support at this no reference area for 5 years. We have to go all the way to 2020 to find a bit of price reference where some potential support would be. So hopefully that continues and not go any deeper, because on October 17th, just 1 week ago, and the 22nd, just 2 days ago, the price did test this yellow support line. And fortunately, there was sufficient buying power to push the price back to stay above this level. But then you see this magnitude getting smaller. So it may still trade within a narrow range for the next few days, just to wait for the breakout to happen. So this time, looking at this magnitude, I can draw another line over here based on the recent candlesticks, but it's not going to change that much. It's going to give us some earlier indication by the end of this month instead of having to wait for another 5 days. If we just look at what happened over the past 10 days, that's where this line is pointing to. So 2 time points. One reacts to more recent price actions. The other goes all the way back to October 10th, if that's a trend, but that's an outlier. So I think let's look at the October 31st, this one, meaning in the next coming few days, we'll see whether the price is really going to come down. Okay, that's the actual descending triangle that we have. So I should take away this line now, because that's only very short term, and this one is of higher relevance or higher implied meaning. So that's all for Polkadot for today. Thanks for joining me. Wish you good luck if you have bought the dip. I don't want to see it to go any further down to test those two crazy levels from 5-ish, almost 6 years ago. See you in the next session.